In the theatre of power, image is everything. Machiavelli understood that once your image is shattered, your authority follows. When someone questions your actions, your instinct may scream to explain. But Machiavelli warns, explanation is weakness. Self-defense reveals desperation. It places you on trial, even when no courtroom exists. The moment you justify yourself, you accept the other person's frame, and in doing so, you lose control. Machiavelli writes in The Prince, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But more subtly, he teaches that to need to defend is to appear guilty. You must project strength, not explanation. When people attack your name, your decisions, or your values, say nothing or respond with poise, not panic. The masses do not analyze truth, they follow strength. Defending yourself ruins the illusion of dominance. Think of any political leader who over-explains during a scandal. No matter the truth, the public smells weakness. But the leader who stays calm, who ignores the noise, flips the power back instantly. Silence is not absence, it is strategy. Machiavelli observed the courts of Europe, where the nobles who rushed to justify themselves often ended in disgrace or exile. The powerful ones, the real players, let rumors die of silence. Their quietness was their sword. In the modern world, you might think, but I have to correct the lies about me. No. The more oxygen you give a fire, the more it burns. Defending yourself is adding fuel to your own destruction. Your critics are not seeking truth. They seek leverage. And the moment you react, they have it. Machiavelli would tell you to embrace the misunderstanding. Let them talk, let them wonder, let your silence become fearsome. Think of ancient generals who stood in the face of accusation with unshaken calm. Julius Caesar was accused of tyranny. He answered by marching an army. Alexander was called a drunk. He conquered the world. No defense, just results. What your enemies want most is a reaction. Give them indifference instead. The more they scream, the more you remain poised. Suddenly, the spotlight turns on them. Their noise becomes insecurity. Yours becomes mystique. Machiavelli teaches the subtle art of flipping the script, not through aggression, not through apologies, but through presence. Through the refusal to shrink, justify, or validate accusations by even acknowledging them. This is not arrogance, it's strategy. The world does not reward truth, it rewards confidence, and confidence when accused does not explain, it laughs, it smiles. It proceeds. In every workplace, every relationship, every circle of influence, there's always a test. Someone will provoke you to justify your worth. Pass the test by declining the invitation. Never explain. Never retreat. Because the truth is this: those who truly know you don't need your defense, and those who don't won't believe it anyway. Machiavelli says, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Honor yourself with stillness." The wolves do not howl when challenged, they stalk silently, power in their posture. When someone tests your position, meet them not with explanation but with elevation. Stand taller, speak less, act more. This is the Machiavellian way, not cruel but cold, not rude but reserved, not defensive but deadly in calm. It is the art of silent retaliation, through presence, through power, through patience. Every time you defend yourself, you give away something priceless: psychological high ground. You tell the world that their opinion of you matters more than your own sense of self. That is fatal. Machiavelli didn't just observe power, he mastered the ways it shifts. And he knew when you let others define your frame, your only move is submission. But when you reject their frame, you define the game. To defend is to accept that you owe them an answer. But Machiavelli would say, why? Who are they to question you? A lion does not explain its hunt to sheep. Power does not ask permission to exist. It's a subtle trick your enemies play. Make you emotional, make you explain, make you weak. But you can flip the game instantly, refuse to participate, let them drown in their own assumptions. The crowd loves a scandal, but it forgets quickly. If you stay silent long enough, they will chase the next noise. But if you panic and respond, you become the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. Silence isn't cowardice, it's control. Machiavelli believed that controlling appearances was more powerful than truth itself. He would say, let them believe what they want, as long as you still hold the throne. There's power in mystery. There's dominance in refusal. The more they guess, the less they know. The less they know, the more they fear. And fear, to Machiavelli, is a currency far more valuable than respect. He writes, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Defending yourself removes that mask. It lays your soul bare for judgment. Instead, wear your silence like armor. In the modern age, especially online, everyone is a critic. But Machiavelli's rule still applies. Do not answer the mob. You owe them nothing. And when you act like you owe nothing, they begin to believe it. The Machiavellian leader rises above noise. When insulted, he smiles. When lied about, he builds. When questioned, he conquers. Every reaction is a chess move. Every silence is a checkmate. Think of how kings handled rumors in the past. They didn't go on tour explaining their innocence. They threw feasts, launched wars, passed laws. Their silence was louder than speeches. You must develop that same aura, not through ego, but through discipline. The discipline to know that silence isn't defeat, it's delay. And in that delay, you rise while your critics burn out. To explain is to plead, and Machiavelli believed pleading was for the powerless. The powerful, he said, command. They shape perception, not by words but by outcomes. So stop defending and start delivering. In truth, most people don't want the explanation, they want the drama. Don't give them that satisfaction. Let them create noise while you build your empire. They'll write rumors, you'll write history. This doesn't mean stay silent forever. It means respond with action, not argument. Power doesn't need to be understood, it needs to be felt. When you are attacked falsely, blamed, slandered, questioned, your first instinct is to say, that's not true, but Machiavelli urges a more devious path. Don't just avoid defense, use the attack. Flip it into firepower. In The Prince, he observes, it must be considered that there is nothing more difficult to carry out, nor more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to handle, than to initiate a new order of things. Why? Because people resist what disrupts their comfort, and when you disrupt, they will come for you. But here's the twist, their resistance is a signal you're rising. And your silence, or better yet, your indifference becomes a mirror. It reflects their insecurity, not your guilt. You don't need to refute them, you let their noise indict themselves. Machiavelli teaches that enemies can serve you. He advises rulers to use hatred to consolidate power. If people call you cold, embrace it, become colder. If they call you manipulative, smile and win anyway. Your job isn't to please, it's to prevail. Defensiveness implies you need permission to be what you are, but power never asks, it asserts. So if someone says, you're too ambitious, your answer is not, no, I'm not. It's a bigger ambition, bolder than before. Flip every insult into affirmation. You're ruthless, yes, and effective. You don't care what others think. Correct, and look how far I've come. Their words become your brand, if you own them, not fight them. This is where Machiavellian cunning enters. Learn to absorb the attack, invert its meaning, and escalate your dominance. They want you to flinch. You stare back with silence, or worse, a smirk. That's when they unravel. Look at historical titans: Napoleon, Churchill, Malcolm X, Elon Musk. Each was accused of arrogance, tyranny, madness. None spent energy explaining themselves. They turned ridicule into revolution. They owned the narrative by ignoring it or by being good. You win by being unbothered. When the arrows fly, don't raise a shield, raise your head and walk through. This is how you reverse control, by letting others define you negatively and then proving that definition doesn't limit your success. It shocks them, it breaks their logic, it terrifies them that their words mean nothing to you. People fear what they can't manipulate. And someone who refuses to justify themselves is untouchable. They become unpredictable. And unpredictability, Machiavelli knew, is the essence of domination. When someone slanders you, don't lower yourself to explain. Instead, launch a new move, win a deal, drop a bold idea, outshine their noise with achievement. Their accusations become background static to your rising power. And if someone demands a public apology, understand what they really want: control. They want you to kneel, to submit, to confess. Don't do it. Machiavelli would tell you, confess nothing. At most, redirect. This doesn't mean never speak. It means speak rarely. And when you do, speak to elevate, not explain. Speak to command, not clarify. Speak to shift the focus from accusation to action. You don't owe people your side of the story. They already chose what they want to believe. Instead, show them something new, a success so sharp it blinds them to their own narrative. The only way to destroy an accusation without defending yourself is by rendering it irrelevant. And you do that not with words, but with wins. Let your results say what you want, look where I stand. Even in personal relationships, this holds. When someone close accuses you unfairly, you may want to defend, but ask, do they want truth or do they want a reaction? If they wanted clarity, they'd ask. If they want drama, they'll accuse. Don't play their game. Respond with calm or better distance. Machiavelli would tell you, protect your peace like a fortress. You don't explain your soul to those who don't honor it. And if your silence makes them mad, let it. If your confidence provokes them, good, that's their storm, not yours. You are the eye of calm in their chaos. Let them self-destruct trying to break you. Because here's the ultimate Machiavellian trick. When you never defend yourself, they stop trying to attack. Why? Because they hate being ignored more than they enjoy being right. You don't win by arguing, you win by being above argument. In every room, in every war of words, in every moment of rising heat, your coolness is your crown. Let them try to drag you down. Let them shout, let them spin stories. While they spend their energy attacking, you use yours to rise. Eventually, they'll burn out. You'll still be rising. That's how you flip the power, instantly. Machiavelli didn't write to make you polite. He wrote to make you dangerous. And nothing is more dangerous than a person whose presence defends itself. When you carry yourself with certainty, when your every move radiates purpose, no one dares ask, why did you do that? They feel the answer before they form the question. This is the final stage of Machiavellian power, to become so grounded, so complete in your identity that defending yourself becomes unnecessary because your existence explains itself. So, how do you become this person? You build reputation like a fortress, one silent brick at a time. Machiavelli said, it is much safer to be feared than loved when you have to choose. But better yet, be respected. And respect doesn't come from defending yourself, it comes from delivering. Reputation is not what you say. It's what you repeat. Show up sharp, move with decisiveness, make bold decisions and stand by them. Let people associate your name with certainty, not sensitivity. If you make a mistake, own it with grace, not guilt. Yes, I did that. Next, no shame, no retreat, no retreat. The world respects those who own their fire, not those who apologize for smoke. When someone attacks and your reputation is strong, their words bounce off like pebbles. People won't even entertain the insult because they've already decided who you are. You made sure of that long ago. To get there, you must live with relentless intention. Every move you make should teach people how to treat you. Every silence should echo louder than their noise. Every response should elevate the room or leave it. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause. Ask, am I doing this to teach or to be liked? If it's the latter, stop. Because Machiavelli believed, being liked is a slippery tool of control. But being respected, that's armor. Build a life so solid that when someone throws mud, people ask why their hands are dirty, not why your coat is. That's the Machiavellian advantage. You construct your image so powerfully, it becomes self-defending. Even when you're misunderstood, especially then, hold your ground. Let the truth come in time, don't hurry it. The truth, revealed slowly, is often more powerful than truth screamed early. You become untouchable by not chasing small fires. Your eyes are on the throne, not the gossip. Your energy is for conquest, not comment sections. Think of every strong leader you admire. They weren't known for defending themselves. They were known for delivering results, holding composure, and moving like storms that spoke only in lightning. Machiavelli knew this. People follow those who don't flinch. If you flinch, you become equal. If you stand still, you become above. That's how hierarchies form through subtle moments of silence and stature. So the next time they lie about you, question your motives, mock your ambition, don't reply. Don't post, don't call, build, execute, win. Make your silence so loud that it deafens their insult. Because power isn't loud, power isn't defensive, power doesn't explain, power just is, and that is Machiavelli's final lesson. Power is not always loud. In fact, the most commanding power is the kind you don't hear coming, the kind that doesn't need to shout, explain, or even speak. Machiavelli understood this truth. The most dangerous individual is not the one who fights, but the one who watches, waits, and wins. In today's world, where everyone rushes to clarify, to respond, to justify themselves instantly, the person who doesn't flinch becomes terrifying. Why? Because silence in chaos signals confidence, stillness in heat signals control. That's the posture of real authority. Machiavelli knew that politics, war, and court life were never about who was right, they were about who held frame. The man who doesn't defend himself controls the frame. He becomes a symbol of resilience, of mystery, of undeniable self-belief. When someone insults you and you don't react, they panic. When someone accuses you and you smile, they unravel. They wanted a war and you gave them peace. That disarms them more than any weapon ever could. True power isn't reactive, it's predictive. It sees the game 3 moves ahead and chooses silence, not as surrender, but as strategy. Not defending yourself is not weakness. It's choosing not to play a rigged game. Most people don't understand this. They think silence equals guilt. But Machiavelli teaches the opposite. Silence is not absence. It's domination by withdrawal. When your presence is so impactful that even your absence is felt, you've won. You don't defend yourself because you've already declared yourself. Not with words, but with consistency. Your actions, your standards, your reputation. They speak louder than any sentence you could construct in your defense. Remember, wolves do not respond to the opinions of sheep. Kings do not answer gossip. Generals do not explain their strategies to civilians, and if you want to rise, you must adopt that posture of strategic detachment. They will test you. Life will throw people at you. Critics, doubters, manipulators. They will push your buttons, provoke reactions, and bait you into justifying yourself. Smile, you've read the prince, you know better. Machiavelli once warned, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him, and if those around you are petty, weak, or desperate for reaction, the way you deal with them reveals your actual rank. Silence isn't emptiness, it's selection. It says, you are not worth my breath. It's not rudeness, it's filtering, it's power choosing its battles, its audience, and its timing. The person who never defends themselves is a person with nothing to prove, because they've already proven it in how they live, in how they carry themselves, in what they choose not to engage with, and that is what breaks enemies. Not insults, not rage, but being ignored, being irrelevant when they attack you and your world keeps spinning. Unshaken, it exposes them, not you, because if you're too quick to explain yourself, it shows you fear losing favor. It shows you value being liked over being respected, and Machiavelli would say that is the beginning of your downfall. If your enemies are louder than you, let them scream. That's their desperation peaking. If your critics are bolder than you, let them perform. That's their spotlight burning out. In the meantime, you build, you win. That's what a silent assassin does. He doesn't protest, he doesn't plead. He simply sharpens his blade and smiles. While others debate, he decides. While others defend, he dominates. There's a dangerous beauty in this approach. People never know what's going on in your head. They can't calculate your next move, and that mystery makes you uncontrollable, and the uncontrollable are always feared and secretly admired. You become that person, the one whose reputation walks into the room before you do. The one people don't want to cross, not because you retaliate, but because you don't even look back. And what's more powerful than that? A man or woman who is immune to insult, who doesn't flinch under scrutiny, who doesn't need applause or agreement to know their worth. That's not just strength, that's sovereignty. Machiavelli would smile at such a person. He would say, you've mastered the final lesson. Not defending yourself is not just a strategy, it's a signal to the world that you've already won. Because when the crowd gets loud, when the attacks get personal, when the spotlight turns red, you stand tall, calm, and utterly unmoved. You don't defend, you don't react, you rise, and soon even your enemies will study you in silence. Even your critics will question themselves before questioning you again. Because your calm became the storm, your silence became their sentence. Never defend yourself, never explain your fire to those too cold to understand it. Never lower your crown to answer fools who would never wear it. Machiavelli's greatest trick wasn't manipulation, it was posture, stillness, strength that doesn't blink. And when you master that, you don't just flip the power, you become the power.